Hello everybody, welcome back to some Vampyr. Picking up where we left off, we went to the theater, we did a boss fight. After, in between parts, I did look up, and we actually couldn't get the book at that point. We have to wait until we get sent back to the theater for a different main quest. At some point. Oh, hi, I thought you
Elizabeth,
weren't allowed in here.
what are you doing here?
I've been formally asked to witness your triumph, my dear. After all, isn't it the natural role of a woman to support her man in victory?
But it's you who insisted I join the Ascalon.
Please forgive my giddiness. I'm just overcome by the thrill of finally being allowed within these hallowed halls.
You certainly have an inquisitive mind. It's quite something. Elizabeth Ashbury, only you can make me smile in these difficult times.
And the same to you, Jonathan Reed. Now go have your little chat with the chairman. I can see he's practically bursting to hear your report.
Oh, and hello, what about
I
you?
have a boat ready to go whenever I want. These hunters won't catch me.
You know, I'm still curious, because like on my map it says that there's a merchant in here. And yet
Welcome back, Dr. Reed.
And yet nobody in here wants to sell me stuff, and I would really like to find some shotgun shells. Or buy some shotgun shells. Because it's just such a good weapon.
Welcome back to the Ascalon Club, Lance-Bearer. Please, tell us the good news. Have you put an end to the epidemic?
My hypothesis was correct. Doris Fletcher was the source of the contagion in this part of town. She was probably the first to be infected.
And you cleansed her before the hunters, I've been told. Well done, Dr. Reed. You thrust your lance and pierced the very heart of the corruption.
But some questions remain.
The important thing is, we won a major battle for the survival of London. For that, we salute you.
Thank you, my lord.
Now, I have another task for you. One of the utmost importance. Perhaps even more so than the previous.
I'm listening.
It's time for you to perform a most sacred duty for the club. I want you to recruit a new vampire.
Recruit a new vampire? Are you sending me on some sort of diplomatic mission?
Not exactly. I want you to make Aloysius Dawson the Ekon he deserves to be.
I'm not sure I'm the best candidate for such a task.
I can hear the hesitation in your voice, Dr. Reed. I admire a man of principles. But in this matter, there is more at stake than your moral comfort.
It's not a moral question, Lord Redgrave. It's the responsibility of giving immortality to a man I barely know.
Nonsense. Aloysius has been a member of the Ascalon for years. This is but the fruition of a long-held plan.
How would you like me to proceed?
Aloysius is waiting for you at the Dawson estate. Once the deed is done, I'll join you there to celebrate this momentous occasion.
Alright, well, let's see.
Before I go, I have a few questions.
All right, I'm listening.
Why Aloysius Dawson?
Because he is about to die. And he just may be the most influential man in England. After me, of course.
Did he choose me?
No, I did. My decision is very recent, to say the least, but it is entirely mine.
Does he know I'm coming?
He can't wait to become your progeny, Dr. Reed. Especially now that you have shown how strong your lineage is through your sister.
You invited Lady Ashbury. Wouldn't that be breaking one of your cardinal rules? No women allowed.
Not allowed as members, no. But considering the circumstances, I thought you'd like to have her here to witness your triumph.
So it's a temporary admittance, then.
Something of a bargain, considering the crisis we're currently facing.
How would you like me to proceed?
Don't worry. Aloysius has had many years to prepare himself. He has studied our kind for decades.
So shall I just let him drink my blood?
Yes. Aloysius will gratefully sup on your blood. His heart will slow, then stop. But he will rise again as one of us, an immortal.
Is there any danger?
Our blood alters a mortal body so deeply that some don't survive the metamorphosis. They die for good. But Mr. Dawson has been preparing himself for a long time.
Goodbye, Lord Redgrave.
Alright, so after quite a bit of research, I think I've made my decision about what to do with them. It seems to be like, basically, you get 3 options, and 2 of the 3 will get you to a good ending.
Are you all right, Jonathan?
Lord Redgrave has just ordered me to turn Aloysius Dawson, to make him my progeny.
I see. And how do you feel about this?
I'd like your advice on the matter.
The real question here is, why has his lordship given you this task?
Do you think it's some sort of trap?
Do you really want to know what I think about this?
I do, yes.
To make an immortal of a soulless blackguard like Aloysius Dawson will only lead to a disaster for London. The man is already dead inside.
Should I refuse? Perhaps politely suggest that Lord Redgrave turn the man into a vampire himself.
Don't you dare, my dear. According to what I've recently discovered, his lordship could kill you for even broaching the subject.
Really? Why?
I've recently found proof that the Earl of Bristol is of lesser lineage and only capable of creating skulls.
Please tell me more about your recent investigation.
As long as you lower your voice.
What would you have me do about Dawson?
The man is dangerous. Did you know he plans to build a wall to separate the healthy rich from the sickly poor? Do not make him your progeny.
What would you do?
The man's dying already. Let the reaper harvest the rotten fruit that is his soul.
What would happen if I made Dawson an Econ like myself?
You would add a powerful immortal into a suffering world. An immortal who already craves authority.
Maybe I could teach him control, like you taught me. Lead him down the right path.
Mr. Dawson spent his life searching for a way to cheat death. I'm sure he has spent decades dreaming of how he'd spend eternity as a tyrant.
Are you sure your information about Redgrave is correct? He says he's the progeny of the great knight William Marshall, who lived some 9 centuries ago.
That's a lie. Lord Redgrave is unable to create anything but skulls, if the poor souls survive at all.
How can you be sure the information was correct?
I made the acquaintance of a most interesting informer while investigating your maker, from whom I learned the truth about Lord Redgrave.
Why so vindictive? You suddenly sound like you're angry.
Forgive me, Jonathan. I hate myself for it, but I feel such pride in my discovery. I'm afraid I just can't help it.
Which is?
He did serve William Marshall, and yes, the blood he covets as a token does truly belong to that legendary knight. But he was never his progeny. His lineage is not so noble.
Goodbye for now, Elizabeth.
Goodbye, my dear. Please, be careful.
Alright. Reach Temple Church right. So yeah, the merchant, by the way, in this place is Dawson. If you turn him into a vampire, he's the one who becomes a merchant here. But you get 3 options. Obviously, one option is just to kill him. And then the other 2, which I guess, I mean, it is just like your
vampires
standard.
have to obey Mendel's laws when producing progeny. Powers pass from one generation to another. That's why Dawson wants me to sire him.
Women's right to vote is
I need to talk to Usher, and then, yeah, no,
only the first
alright,
step.
we're good. We can just go to the other side, the other end. Now, I do believe that this part, or this point, is probably when you're supposed to go and unlock, or go through the whole rigmarole of, I see people up ahead, of going through the park and everything.
Get in weapons ready! Murdering bastard!
Oh, fuck. Come here. I want some blood back and some health back. Not that you provide me a huge amount of health, but hey. Wonder if next time I level up I should power that up. Oh, hello. Well, let's see. Oh, right, I remember now. I can't actually get past these guys if I play it right. Because if I wait for this guy to turn around... Right, he does. No, you don't...
Sir, no admittance.
And I can get up there.
Die, vermin! Die, vermin! Christ, he's dead! I hear leeches.
Oh, right, that dickhead down there can still somewhat reach me. I forgot about that. Alright, so I did have to just go through them anyway. Oh, shit. Did not mean to do that. It's fine, I got lots of blood. And now I'll have even more. Having never increased my blood capacity, I guess is why, like, I probably don't... Like, I probably upgraded that, what is it, Big Thirst, I think, is the name of the one where you get more blood from chomping on people. It's probably why, like, I can fill it up, right? Like, I probably put way more into that than I even needed to. And it would probably be better for me to actually increase my blood capacity. If anything. Now, I should have unlocked this. Oh, whoops, right? Yeah. So yeah, this is the point where you normally would have got there. Been like, oh, it's closed. That's no good. Anyway, we need to talk to this chick.
Good evening, Miss Price.
You know you can call me Carolyn, my dear doctor.
Do you know Aloysius Dawson?
Everybody knows him. He's only been to my shop once, though, looking for rare books and other intriguing antiques.
Did he buy something from you?
No, he left quickly. He almost laughed at my goods. Mr. Dawson may be a rich man, but you can't buy good manners.
But isn't Aloysius Dawson known for his philanthropy?
That was before his brother Robert died in an aeroplane crash. Since then, the remaining twin has turned into a heartless tycoon.
May I
Let's
look at
trade.
your
I
goods?
doubt that you sell shotgun
It's
shells.
always
But
a pleasure to have you.
I imagine that if I want shotgun
Take
shells,
all
I'd
the
have to
time.
go and buy them from Milton, maybe. Yeah. Nothing of
Dr.
interest.
Reed, I am glad to see you again.
Okay, so that's one hint that we need. And the other hint, we need to go talk to Usher. It's all the way the hell gone over here. I do believe, right? Is how we get into the basement. I'm still curious if you can... If you can, like, brute force that. I would imagine so, but I also imagine that would be hard as hell.
Good evening, Jonathan Reed. Can I help you in any way?
Is there anything you could tell me about Aloysius Dawson?
Aloysius Dawson. Yes, of course. We met on several occasions. With time, he got deeper and deeper into the occult.
He's not the only one. It's been quite the fashion for several decades. The Golden Dawn, for instance, is just one example.
True. Aloysius was a member of the Golden Dawn until 1900. Then his thirst for dark knowledge grew. I'm talking forbidden texts, readings which blackened his heart.
Goodbye, sir.
Alright, so that's both hints,
Until
which we
we
need
meet
to
again.
do
I
the
rarely wander.
one
Yet
choice.
It amuses me to converse with your kind.
Because it's really interesting that, like, Crane, you don't need... I don't think, anyway, that you need all of her hints if you want to save her. Although maybe if you want to charm her, because we didn't charm her, right? We just left her alone. And then, if you want... This mansion's this one, right? I think. Can we go through the safe house to get that? But then if you want to get the good ending for Sean... I think this is his mansion. I mean, it's definitely his mansion. I just don't know if this is the way I need to go to get into it. Like, if I need to get to that gate over there. Alright, you fucker. Yeah, now it's just you and me. Fuck. Frick. I think that's the most damage one of those dickheads has ever done to me. Wasn't there were 3 guys, but I guess one of them didn't drop anything. Alright. So apparently, depending on what option you get for this, can also make a fight later on easier or
Dawson's
harder.
mansion.
The final boss, whoever
Here
that
I am
is.
at last. But the question remains, am I ready to make a dying man my progeny?
But yeah, so I'm just going to go over it now before we do it while I search the house. So obviously you can kill him. If you do that, it lowers the district health just like anything else. Obviously that locks you out of the best ending, or what's considered the best ending. Where is he anyway? Whatever. And, okay, he is down on the first floor. And, you know, it comes with all the other side effects of doing so with anybody else. And then you can turn him like they want, which if you do that, it costs you 2,000 experience, which we do have. It costs you 2,000 experience. He builds his wall in apparently one night. And pretty much every single person in every single district becomes sick. Great, right? Execution of John Francis Sparrow. 21 has been hung this morning in the prison of Pentonville. Mr. Sparrow was sentenced to death after being found guilty of the murder of his sister Alexandra Sparrow. Until the end, the man claimed he was innocent. No formal proof of his presence at the crime scene was ever brought to the court, but he has been sentenced to death and executed anyway. Scotland Yard refused to reopen the case despite the many holes in the chain of events, which ended with the death of Miss Sparrow. Charles Albright, who conducted the inquiry for Scotland Yard, refused to answer any of the questions, but 3 weeks ago he was demoted without any official explanation. What a strange way to reward an efficient inquiry.
Reduced in rank for falsely accusing a man of murder. I wonder what Inspector Albright thinks about his punishment.
Well, he's probably not thrilled about it, but you know. And then you have the last option, which we're going to do, which is to charm him. As long as you got both hints for him, you can charm him, in which case every person in every district will be cured of any illnesses they have, which can be considered a good or a bad thing, because obviously, you know, everybody's cured. That's great. District health obviously goes up.
All right.
But at the same time, you don't get the experience for curing them. Now, granted, you don't get a huge amount of experience for curing people. So, I mean, you know, take what you will. And, you know, obviously, it's like if you turn them into a vampire, it costs you 2,000 experience. But then you can run around and cure everyone. Which will then, obviously, get you a bunch of experience as well. Whether or not it'll get you enough, I think it said there's like 50 or so people total throughout all of the districts, so I mean, that is quite a bit, and I don't know that every person gets a level 1 illness, or if some of them might get like level 2 or 3 illnesses, which I assume reward more experience, but I don't know for sure. And then he does die, but it's natural causes, so it doesn't count as a death for you, for the purposes of the no death run, which is nice.
Dr. Reed, still conducting your nocturnal survey?
Is it true you were dropped in rank? Tell me about it.
Yes, it is. I made a terrible mistake. I deserved it. Sometimes I think I should have resigned.
So why are you still working here?
Because I'm a damn fine copper. I just don't want to have someone innocent hung again by mistake because of me.
Death penalty is a shame, is not efficient, or can be appropriate. I mean, I agree with all three of these statements. Let's go with is a shame. Why not?
The death penalty is a great shame.
I agree. I'm convinced all civilized nations should abolish the death penalty. Maybe after the war, once that bloodshed is over, the survivors will change that.
Why do you think there shouldn't be a death penalty?
I believe no one should decide to take a man's life. Not a nation or a government.
Are you a pacifist, Inspector?
No, sir. But I believe in divine justice. Only God has the right to decide who will live and who must die.
Alright, so that's all the hints for him.
Goodbye, Detective Inspector Albright.
So here's,
Goodbye,
right,
Dr.
like...
Jonathan Reed. I'm sure we'll...
Because, I mean, I agree that a government shouldn't have the choice to kill off people, right? Because you put that choice into anybody's hands, all it takes is, like, the slightest bit of corruption. And there are people who definitely don't deserve it going to die. But... here's the thing, right? Keeping people in prisons is expensive. The money to keep them fed and everything, fed and clothed and everything else, is paid for by the taxpayers who aren't criminals. And if somebody's done something bad enough to get the death penalty, the only option other than the death penalty would be life imprisonment, which means you're making people who have done nothing, well, maybe not nothing wrong, but who are currently not criminals and are presumably haven't done anything wrong, at least lately, pay to keep somebody alive for years. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, somebody who went on like a mass killing spree, right? Like, let's say they managed to kill like 20 people, right? And it's haha, proof. Here's the proof. They did it 100%. They admitted it even in the end. Everything right. Like, this person clearly guilty. All right, life imprisonment. Now everybody else has to pay to keep that person alive for the next, what, 50, 60 years until they die? I mean, at that point, it's like, yeah, just kill them. Because you're no longer punishing... Well, I mean, yeah, it's a slight punishment for them. They're in jail, which is not obviously a pleasant experience. But you're also punishing everybody else who didn't commit the crime by forcing them to pay to keep this guy alive, right? Like, it's not really fair. And the way, like, some of the prisoners get treated nowadays is still better than some,
Finally, you're here, Dr.
broke
Reed.
person in a trailer
What
park.
took you so long?
I had to pass several of your barricades and outposts to access your mansion, sir.
Death, pestilence surround us, and time is against me.
I see you've gathered some of the most expensive, albeit experimental, blood transfusion equipment available. All this could be so useful in a hospital.
Yes, yes. Since Lord Redgrave sent me a doctor to perform my confession, I thought you might find some of these devices useful.
Most thoughtful. But tonight, I'm not here as a physician.
But I feel reassured that a specialist such as yourself would help me to escape the Reaper.
Very well. But before I proceed, I have a few questions for you.
If you must, but be quick, for I don't have much time left in this life.
First of all, I need to be sure that you know exactly what is going to happen to you, sir.
I can assure you I'm as informed as any man can be. I have planned for this moment, Dr. Reed. Planned very carefully.
Sir, I'm going to end your life. Do you not wish to discuss the procedure for even a minute?
I don't have a minute to indulge in idle chatter. I can't feel my legs, and the cold, so cold.
I will become your maker. Do you understand what that means?
Well, I certainly won't consider you my liege, or some such drivel. You can be assured of that.
You'll need to feed on warm blood. Blood from mortals. How do you feel about that?
I'm rich, Dr. Reed, and powerful. I'm sure I'll be able to acquire all the blood I need without ever having to sully my own hands.
What do you know about the Guard of Priwen?
What I do know is that I'll crush anyone or anything that would dare to oppose me.
Let's move on then.
Please, I'm cold and tired. I feel my life waning with every moment.
But first, before you embrace immortality, what would you do with such a gift?
That's a rather impertinent question, Dr. Reed. And I will do as I please.
Answer me all the same. What will your first action be as an immortal?
To save London. I will finance the most efficient quarantine ever seen. I will build a wall that will separate the sick boroughs from the healthy ones.
Who gave you the right to decide the fate of thousands of people?
My money. My money and my pending immortality gives me the needed authority, Doctor. I'm a businessman. I'm used to tough decisions.
You really plan to build a quarantine wall across London?
Yes, it will be tall and strong, separating the wheat from the chaff.
Never understood that, but I'm not entirely sure what chaff is, because only chaff I know is the stuff they drop from, like, airplanes to stop missiles from hitting them.
By doing so, you will also create two separate prisons.
Come, sir. An eminent doctor like yourself knows that such radical measures have proved efficient in the past.
Let me guess. You mean to isolate the rich from the poor?
This is a desperate measure for desperate times. England must prevail, Doctor, no matter the cost.
Quarantine is not a bad idea, medically speaking. But I'm convinced this epidemic will not be contained by mere walls.
As long as the right people are on the right side of the wall, that's all that matters.
But you can't guarantee infection will not spread. Just one contagious carrier would be enough to create an apocalypse.
The apocalypse is already knocking at the gate. We must be strong now.
What if a new outbreak happens inside your walls? You'll have created a giant trap.
That won't happen. As long as we dispose of anyone that is contaminated as soon as they are spotted.
Yeah, that would work well.
I've heard enough. It's time to proceed.
At last. All right, do what you have to do. If it hurts, so be it. I've been preparing such a long time for this.
Listen to me, Aloysius Dawson. You will forget your fear of dying, for it has poisoned your mind and made you bitter and ruthless since the death of your twin brother.
You don't understand. Death is oblivion, the eternal void. I know there's nothing there. I saw it in Robert's empty eyes. I saw myself in that coffin.
Death is painful for those who remain, not for those who have passed. All that occult gibberish you filled your head with has made you forget this simple truth.
No! Death will not claim me. I have the power and the money. I've acquired the arcane knowledge needed. I believe there is magic, there are dark forces. You will provide me my extension.
Your ignorance makes you a fool. You have no idea. Look at me. Hunted like a beast, my family lost, cursed. I have not escaped death, I have become it.
No, there must be a way. I don't want to go like my brother did. I have money, lots of money.
Money won't ease your mind. I know you used to be a good and generous man. So I offer you the gift of peace, Aloysius. The tranquility of a true death.
I accept your offer. And I understand. No more fear, I will die a man of dignity. And a man at peace.
Oh, my mesmerized level is up. Prepare to die. Alright. So what is my mesmerized level now? 5. It's almost maxed out. 6, I'm assuming, is the max, since that's what Swansea is. I mean, you know, if we go by Ashbury, it's 20, but that's a bit much. Oh, hello.
Is it done, Dr. Reed? Is Aloysius Dawson reborn, as expected?
I'm afraid Mr. Dawson finally chose to embrace life and death as a mortal.
What do you mean?
He has overcome his fear of dying. I let him rest and wait for death to come.
What? This is unacceptable. Go back there and make him the powerful Ekon he's destined to be.
No, Lord Redgrave. As a doctor and as an immortal, I can't. If you wish to make him your progeny, then proceed on your own.
This is an outrage beyond words. This is betrayal, pure and simple. I should kill you on the spot. You swore on William Marshall's blood.
Well, get rid of me then.
From now on, you're an outcast. Banished. You are forbidden to ever appear in front of us again. Ascalon will smite you on sight, and your heart will be thrown to the rats.
I'll leave you then. Have fun with your puppets and shadow plays, Lord Redgrave.
Yes, go, traitor, and take that awful creature, that counterfeit of a woman I saw waiting for you, and be gone!
Alright. Protect, and by the sword you die. Protect the Pembroke Hospital. What the fuck is happening there? Oh god, is that other boss fight already? I mean, I think there's a boss fight over here anyway. At the hospital, but... Alright, all the way back to the hospital. Hello? Oh, it's the skull
We
lady.
meet again at the strangest of times, young Ekon. So do you serve the Earl of Bristol now?
Old Bridget. What are you doing here?
Your friend, the wise Ekon. She sent me to warn you.
Did anyone see you? It's a long way from the dock sewers, and hunters are patrolling the streets here.
Who said I took the streets? How do you think I survived for centuries in this city without ever being seen? I know all her secrets.
How did you meet Lady Ashbury?
She came to us in the sewers in search of answers. Just as you did.
What kind of answers did you give her?
I knew nothing of your maker, but we talked. We talked a lot. Her words and ideas are captivating. It is no surprise that you like her. I like her too.
Lady Ashbury in the sewers? Now that's a sight I wish I'd seen.
She said she was your friend, and that she sought the identity of your maker. So I answered her questions.
Lady Ashbury? You know her? Tell me what's going on.
The lady approached me but a few nights ago, wanting to meet the sewer skulls. Once she questioned Harriet Jones. She agreed to help us.
Harriet Jones is still with you then? How is she doing?
Harriet remains angry, but is recovering slowly. Her mind is twisted, but at least her body is healing.
Tell me what is going on.
The lady asked us to keep an eye on your mortal doctor friend while you were away. We spotted the hunters. They were discussing plans to attack tonight.
Wait, slow down. I need to ask you something.
I'm listening, but I do not have time to waste, so be quick.
Where is Lady Ashbury right now?
She said she will go home. She needed to speak with some old friends first, though. Do not worry, young Ekon. She is no fool, and just as strong as you.
Why do I feel like Lord Redgrave was particularly irritated to see you? Far more so than the average Skull, if I may say.
Because I used to know him quite well. And he is afraid I may remember who he really is.
You're Elizabeth's informant. You're the one who told her about Lord Redgrave's lies regarding his lineage.
Yes, but my words were not meant to hurt or threaten. I simply told the story of the sewer skulls, and of so many other forgotten children.
How did Elizabeth find you?
She presented herself humbly at our gate, and asked if we knew of any ancestral vampires hiding in London. She asked about Ascalon. She asked about many things.
What do you think of her?
Her soul is good, yet tainted with a deep sadness, and the scars of ancient wounds. Time does that to us immortals, for we have so much to dwell upon.
Why did she come to you?
I am old Bridget, the buried memory of the city. She sought the silent truths, truths I have kept hidden for so long.
No time to lose, then. I must go there right away.
I shall return to my den. Have you a message for the lady? Should I see her before you?
Tell her I worry about her.
Do not, for she has had strength and wisdom for so much longer than you. Go now and take care, young Ekon, for the flames are rising.
Alright. So we'll call this part here. A little bit of a cliffhanger ending. And next time we'll head... Oh, Lady Ashbury has new dialogue. We'll head to the hospital to prevent the guard of Prewin from being dickheads again. But that'll be it for this part. Thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you on Saturday for more.